Central Elementary School, Vice President for PCTA.
Janet Cunningham, Calvin Hunsinger.
Jamie Beck, PCTA PASPA. Staff.
All right, Nelson County Schools and PCTA, we've already TA'd on the employee well-being and satisfaction portion of the contract. Insurance increases for a single employee, regardless of which plan you take, it's about $8-9 a month, our paycheck, $8 to $9 a paycheck. So that's out of the way. PCS says they will continue to pay 80% of the health insurance cost and 80% of the health insurance cost increases. So that's done. We've also come to a TA on supplements for arts, academics, and athletics for the year. Which brings us to today's session, which is all about pay. A couple of things to start with. Overall, inflation, in inflation-adjusted dollars, Florida's teachers' pay has decreased 10.3% between 2012 and 2013 and 2021, 2022. This is not a Pinellas County problem. This is a Florida problem. Regardless of press conferences touting the funding of our schools, the mandates and set-asides keep us from paying our educators what they should be paid. Support people, teachers, everybody. One example of this is the state mandated empowerment scholarships. Last year, Pinellas had to pay $87,903,576 in empowerment scholarships. This year, it is $124,056,023 in empowerment scholarships. That's a difference of an additional $36,000, $36 million, excuse me. I don't even have trouble grasping these numbers. $36 million, $152,477 in additional pay that has to go to the empowerment scholarships. That's a huge hit to the school system, to everybody. Imagine what we could do if that money was put into the regular public schools, an additional $36 million for our county. With today's bargaining session, Pinellas County will reach and pass the state mandated minimum starting salary of $47,500. I'm very happy about that. We looked at the numbers, we've crunched the numbers, we know this is doable. And we're very, very happy to meet that mandate. Even though there's really not much of a penalty involved with it anymore. But it's there. Understand, and we understand, they understand, nobody's going to get rich. This is not our career. It's not been chosen for us to get rich. We're here for the kids and we're here for ourselves and each other. We got to take care of each other. That being said, I've said all I need to say for the time being. Ms. Exel, anything you'd like to add?
I know, thank you for that great review. So you've kind of taken everything, talking about the healthcare and the supplement that we've already come to and presenting today as part of the package as well. Thank you for all the comments you made, and we are here and ready to talk about proposals regarding our salary increases.
The numbers, we know what the numbers are. Everybody knows what the numbers are. So I don't expect this to be it's not going to be contentious, and I expect it to be pretty expedited. I think we can get through this today because it's just about adjusting the numbers. For right now, we know what we have, we know what we wish we had,
right? And
we don't have what we wish. So we need to go along. The calculator that was sent is up on the board.
Okay.
I forgot you. If we were to look at the step increases last year, I believe it was $2,000 for the continuing contract. And everything cascades from there. State law still says annual contract teachers have to get 125% of what the continuing contract teachers get. So and then the effective 50 to 75% of that. So we know what those numbers are. If we were to go ahead and punch in can we punch in the $2,000, which is what it was last year, and see what we get?
So if you scroll down to, actually, it would show you there that I'm sorry, do you want me?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So when we do that, and again, I appreciate looking at this. If we can scroll up just a little bit more though, whoever's running this show here. Okay, so I think maybe let me set the parameters just a little bit on the dollar amount that we do have available at the 11.4 million for this instructional staff, right? And so I know we heard last year that it was very much appreciated that we had shared what it was per employee. If I, again, continuing contract, this is what or continuing employee would get. We heard that it was really great to talk about the dollar amount, and we also recognize that too. We're looking at that. So with a amount of 11.4, and let me kind of restate, the state provided us with $12 million in available funds for increases for all employees. At that point, that is when we talked earlier on, and we kind of shared, Mr. Jefferson had shared all of the things that you just spoke about so great, and rehashed that out, and just kind of talking about where those funds needed to go. So we have 11.4 million. So that's what we're looking at. And it really is formula driven. So as you just put in the 2,000, it's now showing 13.6 million. That's telling us that it's too much, right? So if we look at some other, then if we take that 2,000 and change it, we can kind of see what that might. And as we do that, all the numbers cascade or should cascade. So if we put 1,800, right? And so you'll see 12.2. So really it's a formula driven. If we go to 1,700 or 1,600, I'm not sure what you want to try. So we then see it as, 11.5. So we're getting a little closer. I think if you scroll down just a little bit there, Jamie, we also need to consider the increase to the new starting teacher salary, which is the green highlighted right there. And right now this grid is showing 53.5. So again, the total cost would need to be 205,000 to make that increase, right? So it's kind of a twofold. It's identifying the salary increases for our current, and then, or I'm so sorry, for our employees who were with us last year, but then also what would it take to increase that beginning teacher salary, which you had mentioned at the beginning, Lee, moving forward. And give me 2 seconds here.
So can I just?
Yes, please, Steve.
It looked like up on the top.
Yeah.
Where it has 0
Oh, yeah.
there.
Oh,
That
here.
proposed, further up, right
Further
below
up.
the 3.25%. Where it has $0, that proposed increased cost. So that should be equal to D5, should be the formula. I'm not too sure what.
11,454, that number.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
so
sure
if you
why
just do
that's-
equals, D5,
Mhm.
D5. Hit enter. Then the formula down below with the excess deficit will work correctly.
Yeah, let's scroll down again, because I knew that didn't look quite right.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, we're about 500,000 short. So again, Jamie, if you go back up to,
I think
and that's wrong too.
the COLA was.
The formula
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah, but it's a formula in there.
15%.
Yeah,
So it should be
What?
equals I-14 times 0.15.
I-14.
Yes. Then asterisk, 0.15. Close parentheses.
oh yeah. So if we scroll down, we're still then 667,000. And again, the reason, because she just put in that other column, right? We have people in that bucket right there. So if we go back up to, and we put 1,600. Then we're showing we're 25,000 in the good side, if you want to say good side. But I want to clarify and just make sure everyone is understanding that there's also that asterisk that says this is in addition to the referendum. You'll notice all 4 of those grids right there. Those lines by the 1,600, 2,000, 1,500, 225. that will be added to that as a 639 that the referendum for this year has already been started, right? So when you're looking at the 1,600, you're actually, that increase for any of the employees in that grid would actually be 2239, if I'm doing my math very quickly, accurately. So 2239. So that's what we're, that's the increase for those employees. And then cascading through that, it'd be 2639. And I'm not gonna do the math all by myself right here on that 2139 is and so forth. So that would get us to a starting teacher salary of 53.5.
I've always had a problem with the referendum being included in the pay because the referendum is not bargained. And we don't have a chance to bargain how that gets spent.
Sure.
That's the way it is. That's why I always try to look at the real base pay number and try to
Absolutely.
work from there.
Absolutely.
And
Oh, right.
hopefully in the fall, we will pass a better referendum in the fall. And that will be even better for all of us in the county and especially to support people. I'm really happy about that.
Absolutely.
Really, really happy that they will be included in the new referendum.
I think and I fully agree with, and you know, what you're mentioning, Lee, is that on the grid, right? So we want to keep looking just at that, but just knowing, I don't want people, I want everyone to recognize that it's not just a $1,600 increase, but it's also another $639 increase.
I've
So,
already had somebody contact me saying, hey, I got a raise already.
yeah.
Well, not from bargaining.
Yeah.
Not from bargaining.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
referendum.
Which is awesome, and we're very thankful for that, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, it really is, that is to get it to 53.5. I know, Lee, you had, we had discussed, the other tab is if we wanted to raise it to 54.5, and so that's another, we can walk through that if you want.
Yeah, let's take a look at the
Okay.
54.5.
So I want to keep everybody in mind. I'm sorry, Jamie, can you just go back real quick? So and we do start with our continuing salaries, right? You know, they're continuing employees. So keeping in mind 1,600, but we can always toggle back and forth. But I've talked to my team about looking at that 1,600. If we were to go to 54.5 for our starting teacher salary, which would, and people might be asking, why are we looking at that? Well, we're looking at that because of our, the referendum in addition is 60, oh, I had it in my head, 67.
69,
69, 67. If you take that and add it to 47.5, it's just under 54.5. So that's the rationale of why we're even looking at this. So again, the dollar amount available doesn't change 11.4, but if you scroll down, and if you could scroll all the way to the bottom, I want to see what okay, 15.45. Okay, so if we go back up to the top, sorry about that, Jamie. Okay, so here, remember the 1,600, if we put it at 1545 then. And cascade it through, we would be at that 11.4 amount. It is preferential of whatever it is that you would like to propose, which route we go. I mentioned to keep in mind the 1,600 versus 1545. It's a difference of $55 for the year. In order for us to get to a 54.5. So that's something that we just are discussing, throwing out there for discussion moving forward. But you see how it all just flows through the possibilities.
I just have a really quick question.
Sure.
Whenever when we talk about the new starting teacher salary, are those the teachers that haven't started yet, or are they the teachers that were just hired in August?
They were any teacher that came on board July 1st or later.
Okay, so they're everybody that has just started.
Am I correct in answering that? Yes.
This fiscal year.
Yes.
So my question is, unless I heard wrong,
No.
like whenever you were like making changes to the amounts, it's like changing all of the amounts in all categories, correct?
Yeah, so anybody not at, and that's what we've done the last several years when we've continued to raise that beginning teacher. Anybody after all of this is after the appropriate salary increase is given, if anybody is falling under the 54.5, they would be increased to the 54.5. We may have somebody that might be 54, 450, right? So after their increase, we would do another $50 to get them to 54.5.
Nobody below that amount.
So you could have people from last year after we add their, highly effective or effective amount. If they're still below, that's gonna be additional cost. They would go to 54.5. And that's part of the $595,000 cost
To get
is to
there.
raise everybody.
It's not a whole lot because think about it, last year, they starting salary, so somebody was hired last year at 52,000.
Mhm.
Right. They are now at 52,639 because of the increase this past summer in referendum. So they're sitting at 52,639. They would get whatever, if they had an evaluation last year, right? Their
Okay.
increase would be placed, but say, for example, somebody was a needs improvement. They would get the 217 added to that 52,639, but we would give them the difference to raise them to 54.5. Right, so nobody would be under that amount. Does that make sense?
I think so.
I had a question,
And if it doesn't, if you need a follow-up question, we can, yeah, because it is, yeah.
just because, I mean, I'm not opposed to getting new teachers more money or any teachers money, but I'm just the question of these folks were just hired, they expect their salary to be this, they don't expect an immediate raise. What if we just delayed it until the beginning of, say, 2025, January? Well, how much money would we be talking about in terms of? So it would be sort of 5 months and then, would that be enough sort of wiggle room to renegotiate that 1,700?
So, yes, anything is doable, except we do have salaries for a year, like we come to negotiate for the year, so we would almost, I don't even know if we could even estimate that, because I guess we could and go back to 5 years of how many people we hire second semester and but we do bargain and we negotiate with everybody for the year.
It wouldn't be to the
See, he's
following
thinking
year.
the exact same thing that I'm thinking, which is that they just started for Pinellas County Schools.
Right.
And they signed a contract for Pinellas
We've
County
talked
Schools,
about this
right,
too.
for
Yeah.
that amount,
Yeah,
but we're turning right around, and it just seems like. Can we mess with the numbers without moving that number, because they haven't worked a whole year yet, correct?
so when we report out at beginning teacher salaries too, right?
Uh-huh.
When we are trying to continue to recruit people and teachers, even though we're doing a really, really good job and we've allocated appropriately, so to speak, and I know we're doing counts and so forth. I think one of the goals was to get whatever that is, beginning teacher salary, to a point. Again, we can do whatever wherever we want to place that beginning teacher salary. I just know it was a desire to get to that 54.5. And you're exactly right. We have those same conversations, right? We had that same
Yeah.
conversations. But it would be a little, I think it would be a little difficult to say my starting is this now and then giving a mid-year. I don't know.
There's not that many of them, so that's the other piece. So really, since July 1, I haven't looked at it today. But I look at it every day, but I do look at it a lot. I think there was like 400 new teachers hired. Of those 400, they weren't all first-year teachers. And of those 400, here's the other stickler. Some of them, because you have a year to get your experience credit in, that also delays, that also impacts things. Because,
Mhm.
we have sometimes that people taught up north in their experience, so they come in at that base. But
they know they're gonna be submitting.
so
years of
it'll throw that
experience.
off as
Yeah.
well.
Which, by the way, if you're at home and you're listening and you're a new teacher, get your hours in,
Yes.
get it credited.
Yeah.
as soon as
Sometimes it's not
possible.
their fault though. It really is.
As
And
soon
that's
as
why we
possible.
give them a year, because
Sometimes, yeah.
sometimes it's their district that doesn't.
But
Yeah.
as soon as you can, get it in.
Yeah, we're calling it.
Exactly, and they're very good about it, but some districts are not as quick as others.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
I had the question, how many vacancies are there currently?
I'm gonna say around 50. It's
50,
been
okay.
gone down to 46. It's been up to 53. I would venture to say it's about 50 today. Yeah.
Really good. really
Very
to
good.
hear.
And, it's been a really good kick. I mean, I'm just gonna sidebar here. It's been good start of the year. I know you all are supporting those new people in your buildings and things like that, so we've heard it, you know, loud and clear across the board, so. Thank you for that.
You want a chance to go talk? Let's caucus.
Okay, all right,
We're gonna walk out. That way
you
you,
sure?
yeah, sure. We're closer to the door.
Are they all muted or?
She's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Petrus?
Oh, I should have done.
You're gonna get the notification that they come up. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move over here.
We're back on. All right, nice long caucus, for us because math hurts. Fortunately, we have math people here. One of the things we, when looking at the 53.5, it actually doesn't make it to the 47.5 completely. So 53.5 is gonna have to be off the table. We would like to try to increase that. And work out the math we do, and my buddy Dan over there has the numbers, so 53.5 is off the table. But we have a compromise on the numbers. Dan, buddy?
So, we are looking at, the 53,828. That gets us to, minus referendum, the number of 47,500 for the statute. So it is actually a little bit increased from the 53.5. But it's sort of meeting in the middle with that. The other thing that we wanted to do, to obviously, help adjust the numbers slightly, is to remove the COLA. And that doesn't really affect significant number of folks, anyway. And then we're looking at the increase, the continuing side at 1680. So that brings us to the 11,462. And then, assuming that also adds in then, this number I'm pretty sure is incorrect here, because I don't think the cell was designed to calculate that, but it's about 380,000. So.
Can you scroll
but
down?
In the end, it does calculate in there, but it just doesn't show here, so let's ignore that number there.
Correct, yeah,
This
I
is-
see it.
this
So
is-
it's 367,000 short.
Correct. That's what we're.
Okay, so let us go back. I want to make sure I have the numbers, so starting salary 53,828. That's what you're saying is 53,828 for the starting, right? Sorry.
Correct.
All right, and then can you go back, scroll up to the top, please? I just want to make sure I have the. And it's 1680. Okay, so can we take this and let us punch the numbers as well?
You want us to leave?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
just
just
go in
'cause we
there.
have
That's
that-
fine.
Yeah, sorry, because our things are set up here. Yeah, who's in charge of the computers?
You can take the computer back.
You have the con.
Here is yours. And if you wanna do this, then.
This is a minus, says Nancy
you can
Velarde.
Have some fun with that one too.
Angie,
We refresh them.
How are you?
President.
Hi, how are you?
we good?
Yep, we're back.
Okay, so we did take your information. I wanted to kind of go back to a couple of items that, so the 53,828, right? Is the what you had requested as the starting teacher salary. So I wanted to point out the total cost to get to 53,828 is actually 311,000. Carly's got the spreadsheet, she has her formulas, we kind of pulled it up again, ran it. Because if we took off the COLA, right, so you had people then that were further away, so some of that money may have had to go to that. That's why it's kind of, it might look a little different than, I didn't write that number down, so from yours. So if we go back up to the top, so that would mean, again, we were looking for the 11.4. If we did 1625, we know that your proposal before was 1680, and this is talking continuing, right? If we do that, it's scaled through, everything flushed through. If we go all the way to the bottom, then Carly, it is actually 11.5, so we're actually 97,000 at a deficit. I have pushed our CFO here, even though we did have 11.4 was what we had available. He said we would be able to do that. So that is our proposal back to you. So again, I will kind of reiterate, maybe describe or talk about this. So we can go back to the top, Carly. We came in with 11.4 available. Our cost for the salary increases for continuing 1625, annual highly effective 2031 and some change, annual effective 1,523 and some change, 0 for our and for a COLA or an IRU. But in addition, that would be, let me stop there. Yeah, keep going. So we still have our 154 for our supplements. Our current starting teacher salary is 52. It would be go to 53,828 as you had proposed. In addition is the referendum increase of 639. So I kind of want to reiterate, those who are not receiving a COLA have received the 639. And then, so that is how it is computing our proposed. We always just want to put that on there so we know how we get there. And Carly, I'm gonna ask one. Okay, I'm so sorry. That's right. Okay. And so our total cost again to move it to the beginning teacher salary 53,828 is just over 300,000. So our total cost to the 53,828 is 11.552. Again, we haven't talked about this, but we also add in the fringe, which just puts it over 14 million. So we will throw it back to you.
And just so my teachers back home understand, the reason we're trying to get it to the 47.5 is so that we have some flexibility in the future. I'm in my 29th year. I understand the salary compression and how much it's been hurting us. How those of you in my book, I understand that. And I hope to be able to, by reaching this 47.5, be able to negotiate better next year. Next year, we're in an open book and there's a lot more on the table. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to get to that level. We wanted to make sure we were at that point so we could move forward from there. Yes.
And I want to clarify for people listening as well, the 47.5 is a statute required base minimum. In addition to the 47.5, the referendum is added to it. So the proposed right now would be a starting salary of $53,000, $828. What it is this year is 52,000. We are trying to break apart from the need to have the referendum fund any part of the base salaries for our teachers.
Yeah, that has always been a point of contention with me. I do not like the referendum included in the salary. Look, last year Hillsborough County was at $47,504 just so that they got over their limit. 47,504 pennies just to be over. So it is something that we need to do, and we're making strides, making efforts to get there on both sides, and I appreciate that on both sides. Dan?
I'm sure if I'm doing my math wrong or not. Because remember, we never really like verified the numbers backwards.
Speak up, so.
Oh, the 47.5 minus the referendum though, I'm sorry. The 53, the number that we proposed,
53,828
yes, minus the referendum.
gives us 600 and you have just pulled it out. Yeah, so that's what it is. So it,
Total referendum,
Correct.
it's a minus 6,967.
I think that the 639 increase from last year to this year might have possibly been expressed twice. I don't know
No.
if that's true or not. No, it works out.
Yeah.
To get, okay, I just,
Are we at the dollar mark for the referendum? That's the
I
question,
understand
being
the
added to
question.
the 52,000.
so I'm so sorry, say that again.
Are we at the dollar mark that we will no longer have our, we made the 47.5?
We are not at the 47.5. In order to get, and I'm sorry. So in order to get with the referendum, not, okay, taking away the referendum. Let me change it around. Sorry, I don't mean to do this one. In order for us to be at 47.5 and then at the referendum, we need to be at 54, 53, nope, 54, 4.
Wow.
I had it, sorry.
Currently,
it's
I have it on my board.
639.
54, 467.
Is that $639 more than what that proposal is up there? What's the disparity between what
Hold
was,
on.
what was asked for?
the 6,967 current referendum amount includes the $639 increase. Last year, the referendum was 6,328. Went up $639 to 6,967. So yes, that $639 is part of that figure.
Yeah, no, it wasn't added in there.
What is the question you're asking again?
Will the $53,828, will that make the base salary?
No, it will not.
What is the difference?
639.
That's the the 639 is the.
Well,
difference.
so again, let me go back.
That's Dan's- that's Dan's question.
47,500, right? 40, and I wish I could have a board. 47
So it should-
500 plus our 69,
What should be the number?
67. We would need to get to 54, 467, which is what Lee had mentioned at the beginning with getting to 54, 500, like that would get us.
So it's a $639.
So whatever number you came up, you guys gave us the number,
Yes, yes.
and it is 600,
It
it
wasn't
happens to
counting
be
in the other 639.
639.
That was the problem, yeah.
That we are still away from. If we're looking at this year's numbers. Away from the requirement. The looking at 47.5.
So can we get a calculation of what that the additional 639 would be?
So I think we can go to the 54, 500. Grid that we had. I don't think you can do it just like that because it is not, again, it's a whole salary grid, right? Of everybody who's underneath that. It's a different spreadsheet. But if we looked at our 54/5 grid. And I don't know if she can do if. So that was. But that's too much. That's 757,000, right? So I believe we were at 1575 or something there. Let's see what it is. And I would go with that, right? Because we were.
45, 1545.
That, no,
I'll tell you.
it's too many it's a too much version because we did have it 1545 is what we had on it originally.
Well, we have to take out it's because we took out the COLA. It
We
was
took out the
1545, and we took out the COLA.
Are you wanting to get to, I mean, I don't know what your question is about this. Do you want us to work on that? I mean, we can sit here and do this, like.
Yeah, I want to get to the 47.5.
Okay. And again, it's. We
And a
did
penny.
54/5. I mean, we could do,
1570.
if we do. We'll give a little, I mean, I've got a little extra though.
That's over
Okay, and go back up to the top. 1575. And we're still short 40, but I've already gotten the okay from my CFO that we can do that, so.
Can you slide back down a little bit again? Can you give us the exact number, not a rounded number,
Okay,
of a base salary that meets the 47.5 statute requirement with the referendum?
we
Added
would
to
do
it?
454, 467, and so what they're asking, I believe, Carly, is for us to go cost that out.
Yes, and the change on it, not the 500 rounded.
I understand, we were just,
I know, I'm thinking.
you know, but I get it, so it's, you know,
We're back to the 54,500.
but she's asking, well, I
They want
heard an
her
ask
to the
to go to
dollar.
54,467.
And then
So we would need to go back to our other spreadsheet, so we would need some time to go cost that out.
And just to keep in mind too, that this here also, this cost out originally included a cost of living, so this will increase as well once I change that.
Correct. Yeah, because we were doing it just off of that, right? Right. All of it doesn't trickle out, right? That when we talk about projecting the base salary, we just need a few minutes. We need to go to another spreadsheet to do the cost out, but what she's saying is it's gonna be more than the 595. Which is gonna then trickle through everything else, but we can do that. So if you could maybe give us a few minutes, we'll work on that. I just know if Carly would do better, nobody's like looking at her over her shoulder. Yeah.
I refuse to do the clap hand things.
Come on, give me
I'm a high school
elementary
teacher, I
school,
can't do
come
that,
on.
no.
Exactly, Tracy, come on,
No.
us elementary people have to stick together. All right, so we went back, and if we have, as you had asked to do the proposing starting salary at 54,467. We get to that 54,467 by taking our 47,500 base, adding the referendum of 69,67, and it equals 54,467. In order to increase everybody to that, it's just about 661,000. So that's kind of where we are with that, which means for everybody else, let's scroll up. For the continuing 1570, 1962 for the annual highly effective, 1471 for annual effective, and we have left the COLA at 0. So if we scroll down now back to the bottom, sorry, keep going back and forth. That gives us 11.527, which is a deficit of 73. But as I said, if we're that close, we have gotten the okay to make that happen.
You scroll up a little bit. There you go. It's all right there.
I know we don't like to add all, I know we're talking base and so forth, and we've already received our increase in our referendum. But for our continuing, that would be 2209. Oh, okay, Carly did that there. So I kind of want to share, too, we had talked about this earlier too. Last year, you had mentioned right at the beginning of our session today, it was over 2,000 increase. Another 2,200, and I think actually with the referendum a little bit last year was 2,500, 2,200. Over the past 2 years, I think that's phenomenal that it's, I'm not gonna do my quick math here, but I'm gonna try. 4,700 around there. Again, we would love to give 50,000, right? But I do think that makes substantial headway moving forward. For that one group, again, not we have our effective.
The way the laws are written, we can't do it as fairly as it probably should be. Nice.
So that's costed out as you had asked, and so that's where we are with that. And again, we're okay to go slightly above to make, if this is agreeable to you, and if this is something you want to
And
To
the
move
amount
forward
that
on.
you're going above.
This 73,000 extra.
that we came in at with 11.4 available for this group. And we would be going to 11.527. And then with fringe, just happen to say it's another just under 14 million. And that's a cost.
Can you clarify what fringe includes?
Yes.
Dave can.
It's the retirement, the current retirement rate is 13.63%. Social Security is 6.2% and Medicare is 1.45%. But the total is 21.28%.
So those would be numbers that people wouldn't usually be aware of or see. That are,
Correct, 'cause those are the,
that are included in the amount of money that PCSB would be
The board
covering for a possible
right,
negotiated raise.
correct. Those are the percentages for that, even on just our regular salary, this would be part of our salaries. That's what the board's contributing for Social Security, Medicare, and retirement in this fiscal year. Correct.
Can you tell me those again, those percentages?
Sure, the retirement is 13.63%. Social Security is 6.2%, and Medicare is 1.45%. Social Security and Medicare pretty much stay the same unless the government changes that. FRS changes the retirement rates each fiscal year depending on the actuarial something. But that's the current rate for this year for people in the regular retirement plan.
Which equals out to how much in addition to the approximate $11 million?
It's 21.28%. which is the difference, you know.
The difference between the.
$2.4 million.
Between the 13.9 million and the 11.
Correct.
I just, should pop up.
All right, guys, you wanna take a turn? You wanna go talk?
Yeah.
Let's do that. And again. Back and forth.
What's the percentage? Of that
Total
21.
is 21.28%.
That's what you guys put in. Right?
That's the total board contribution, correct, for those three things.
Warm it up a little bit in here. That works really well. It works really well.
Isn't it great when you can do it yourself?
Yes.
Portable teacher.
Yes.
That doesn't work now.
Huh?
So that you can-
Right on.
All right, that 1570. That's Crowley.
No, it's there. It's up. Somebody's walking upstairs. That's why it shakes.
It's an old building.
We were like, somebody.
Take that 1570 and put it at 1600, please. And that's what we'd like today. Hmm?
you don't need to teach it, fine.
No,
So that is, so what that turn, and Carly, is that? That's, everything stays the same, right? I got that. So we are 277,000 over. And so we cannot do that today. So
you
where,
wanna think about it and come back tomorrow?
no, I don't need to think about that because we are at the 11.4 is the amount of money that we have available. So we need to work on trying to get to that, closer to that number. The last proposal had, we were over by almost 75,000. And we would be willing to do that, or able to do that, sorry. So where else could we look at it?
Your counter. We asked for the 16.
So it appears that we're getting closer and closer to where we want to be.
Mhm.
Obviously, as PCTA, we want to get the most we can get for, the collective bargaining unit,
Absolutely.
as you do as well.
Yes,
So right now, we're talking the difference in the one category of the continuum, which will read the boat of 1570 versus 1600. So we're at a $30 difference. Of course, it magnifies with the number of people that are on contract, plus the rest of the people that follow along with it.
correct.
So what we'd like to see is we'd like to see where we can build closer together on that while still maximizing the amount we can get. So our proposal was 16, and I know, as Lee said, it's the counter proposal, but I believe we're getting very close.
We are getting close.
So
Yeah,
I know we're over our session time, but we'd like to be able to, to see how we could negotiate or what else we could do. We took the COLA out. We talked about
right.
the fringe. The people in the collective bargaining unit will be able to recognize that there is a $14 million plus benefits and salary raise out there right now. They don't see the screen. It is $250,000 short on your side approximately. That we want to try to get within the coffers of PCSB, as well as get the raises as well as we can. So is there a place that you could look to see if we could somewhere meet between the numbers that we have at this
Well, I
point?
think what we would do is continue to look at the beginning teacher, the beginning salary is the only thing I'm looking at because we are obligated to do that. And the 125% So again, once we put that in there, it all cascades through. So the only other avenue we have is to do that area if you are looking to stay at closer to 1575 or whatever. If you would like to give us 5 more minutes, let us work on it one more time. And then we can see where
Sure,
we go.
absolutely.
Like, oh, I needed to add, we're ready. My finger went a little fast on it. Okay, so, we understand it is raising this and raising that and lowering this and lowering that to try to make it work. So here are two options. I don't know what you have up there first, Carly. I think it's the 1575. I know we were at 1570, so we are countering at 1575 and leaving 54,467 for the starting teacher salary. That would put us 107,000 more than what is available at this point. The other option that cause I keep I'm hearing loud and clear that we're trying to get to the 1,600 for the continuing. In order for that, to go 1,600, we would do 54,000 for the starting teacher salary. So those are kind of two options, balancing back and forth, you know, lowering this, upping this.
Squeezing the balloon.
Correct. So those are our two. Would you guys like to stay in here and talk, or would you like us to?
We appreciate your willingness to work and to provide us two options on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I do.
So yes, we are very happy with you being able to do that.
Want to talk about it one more time?
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Well, let me repeat it for
Right.
you. First option, we gave two options. The continuing, box would be 1575 and leaving the starting salary at 54,467. Or moving the continuing box to 1,600, I just call it a box, sorry. 1,600 and making the starting salary at 54,000.
So if you move the continuing box to 1,600, that would make the other existing employees for the highly effective at 2,000
Correct,
and the effective at 1,500.
correct.
And by doing that, you would, instead of having the 54,467 starting salary, it would be 54,000.
So you'd be 479 away from the 47.5.
Correct. So that would be the difference with the referendum. If it was stripped from it, the part we still need to get.
That it would be, yes, correct.
Would you mind sharing what the actual deficit is?
Sure, the
for each?
deficit for if we did the 1,654,000 is 12,000. Over. And the other one was I believe 107,000 to get there. Okay.
You know what? We'll leave it, yeah.
We're just helping you guys get it accepted.
We're
today.
used to the-
Very good.
Since,
There too.
when y'all walk in, it's bigger than a trainer walk.
All right, there's so much, so we're doing the best we can for our members. I know you're doing your best you can for the county. That's what we do. We're gonna go ahead and, I'm willing to accept the 1,600 with the 54,000 base pay. I really wanted to get to the, I really wanted to get there, but, there's next year and we're so close
We are close.
that
I
we will
agree.
be there next year, and there's no doubt. I was hoping to get there this year, but math is math.
It is.
And we have done the best we can to maximize the benefit to our members. At every step of the way. I think we've done well.
I will speak, and just, I just want to echo that and agree with you, Lee. I think, numbers are numbers and the numbers available are here, and I appreciate the back and forth, and because that is exactly what we're here to do as well, is trying to get the maximum for all of our employees. And I think getting to this, I think this is huge, getting to this point. I know you wanted to get to that next little bit, but I think this is a really, really great opportunity for our employees. And so we'll kind of do paperwork stuff now, so we can get it to you and we can print it and we can get signatures. So I do, Carly has we just call it the green sheet because it's got the green boxes. But if she could send it to Jamie, can we send it to you and you can print up? Okay. Then I do have a written up MOU and I'm just gonna adjust the numbers. I'll send it to you. You can print it, look at it. We can kind of leave it up and running, but I just want to get the numbers. But I didn't.
What do you think?
Nothing.
I'm just gonna wait for Carly, because, yeah, Carly's.
So Carl's gonna send me something on my phone.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna put it back up.
Oh, I bet it is this.
Don't write for
I
hours.
don't know what.
I won't,
Is it the 54,000 one? Six. I don't have that. Yeah. Oh, 2,500, right? Okay, 1,600.
So 1,500.
Yeah, but I gotta add the, yeah, here it is. Oh, I've got it, yeah, you got it. 2,000.
Three copies.
We just need one for each of us, but I think if you all want some for yourself.
No, I thought it-
Turn it off.
Okay.
All right, we're clear.